Hey, it's Lavina, I think is how you say the first name. Hope I'm getting that right. It's Trooper Ben of the Hive Patrol. Thank you for your direct message. You've got a lot of questions there, so I'm just going to answer them quickly with a video response. The very first one is, do you have to live in Kansas to apply? Absolutely not. I mean, we have people that are applying all across the United States to eventually join the Kansas Hive Patrol or hopes to have joined the Kansas Hive Patrol at some point. So you apply anywhere in the United States. And if you get on, certainly then at that point, you're going to have to be living in Kansas. So anywhere you need to apply anywhere, but eventually you'll get here. What's the age limit? There is no top end of our age limit. I mean, you can be as old as you'd like to go through the process to join the Hive Patrol as a trooper, dispatcher, clerical staff, whatever it might be. There's no top end. That includes our troopers. We actually just recently had a trooper graduate from our academy that was 53 years of age. So at any point, if you can do the job, we want you. So that's up to you. Can you do the job? Then step up to the plate and apply. Does the KHP participate in community events outside of job fairs? We always are trying to find ways to get into buildings, schools, churches, into the communities that we serve. I mean, troopers typically are on the roadways, so it's important that we get out of our vehicles and in town at times, not just for enforcement or dealing with accidents and arrests, but to deal with community positive interaction. So I find myself frequently going into schools and talking at lunchtime, just to walk around a cafeteria, interacting with students, throwing a football around on the playground. It's important we do that, and our troopers try to find times to do that. In addition, our troopers seem to be involved with a lot of things in their communities, if they're on school boards or if they're coaches for football teams, youth football teams, or whatever it might be. I know that I am a youth coach for our wrestling kids, youth kids, little kids in our community, so we try to get involved. Is there a lot to do outdoors in Kansas? I would think so. Like any state, there's always recreational things you can do, if it's swimming and boating and camping and hunting, fishing, whatever it might be, just trail walking. There's things all across our state, depending on where you're at. I think you'll find always things to do. So there's that. Would you recommend Kansas as a good place to raise a family? I think so. I'm raising my kids here. I'm from Michigan. The military is what brought me to Kansas, and I decided to stay in Kansas. And I've been in Kansas now longer in my life than I ever had in my time in Michigan. So I'm truly a Kansan now, and I've grown to really love Kansas and the freedoms and opportunity and the space that we have across Kansas. We've got very metropolitan areas if you want to be in that type of area, or very rural, open area if you'd like for your family and raising a family. So a lot of opportunities to live wherever you'd like. Why would you personally recommend the Kansas Hive Patrol over other agencies? Well, I think, for me, you have the freedoms as a trooper to go anywhere in the state of Kansas. So you've got statewide jurisdiction, not just city limits, not just county lines, but state lines. And that's a pretty big sandbox or playground to play in if you ever want to go and deal with things across our state. So I like having the freedoms to go anywhere. I don't have to tell or ask dispatch to go somewhere. I just tell dispatch I'm going to somewhere across the state to help with that critical event. So I like that. Another thing that I think is a good thing when it comes to being a state law enforcement officer is that you might start your job in a metropolitan area, let's just say Wichita, Kansas, and South Central Kansas, and then you find a spouse, you start having kids, and you start recognizing, hey, I want to have our kids be raised in a school that's smaller, so you can lateral to a new area of the state, still maintaining your job as a state trooper, just starting in a new area of the state. Or maybe your spouse gets a significant job somewhere in the metropolitan area, but you live in Western Kansas. You as a state trooper can just lateral over to that area and start working and continue your career in that place, just as your spouse could then continue in their career path and careers and goals. So with that, that's nice. As a city officer, though, city officer would have to resign from their position and then apply to be a new officer in that new community they're in. So they would start new. For the troopers, you maintain your seniority, you just maintain your pay, and you just start doing the job as you've been doing, just in a new area of the state. So I think it's nice to be able to have the freedoms to change throughout your career to what best fits your family and where you want to be in your family and your life. So I think that's really, really good for our agency. A lot of freedoms, a lot of opportunity to do what you'd like to do. Next question. Do you have assigned station regions to cover. So we have a trooper gets assigned a county. They have to stay within that county to live. They have to live within that county. So wherever the geographical county lines are, they have to be living within that county. But really, when they go to work, they can go wherever they like. Now, generally, they stay in a certain region. Usually, it's the county they are assigned, as well as maybe the surrounding counties they'll patrol. But if something happens really far away, they'll drive up there and deal with that really far away event because we can. What our troopers typically do, I think, though, is they go to work, they get on their computer, they see who else is out, because we can see now wherever other troopers are at. And you start recognizing, well, there's nobody over here, so let's drive over there and patrol. Or it might be where, hey, everybody's up in this community, but that's because there's something big happening then, a big college football game, or maybe there's some national football game or something. So our troopers will flex or move to that area to best accommodate the needs that the public would want of us. So if there's big chases, crashes, opportunities to make arrests because there's bad things happening on the roadway, the public saying deal with this, well, we're going to be in that area. So our troopers generally stay in their normal area and surrounding counties, but they might flex over to different areas depending on what's going on because, again, we have statewide jurisdiction. So there's that. If so, do you find out where before you start the academy? So you do. So the High Patrol, if you go through the hiring process, near the very end or at the end, they're going to offer you a conditional offer of employment, and then they're going to tell you this is where we'd like to place you, what county they'd like you to be assigned to. And at that point, you can make the decision to accept it. You can make the decision to say, let me think about this over the next day or two, and then get back with the Kansas High Patrol. Or you can at that point decide, no, I don't want to take that position. That doesn't fit what I want for myself or my family. So you'll know before you start the academy. And that has to actually change. We used to let our applicants know through the process, through the academy, halfway in. Now we tell them before they start the academy, which is several weeks before they even show up. So you're going to be well aware of where you're going to go and make the decision if you want to accept that position or not, to sort of get an idea of what the school, what the community is like, what the county is like, and if that's a good fit for you and your spouse, or your family, or loved ones. So good for you. I can't think of anything else you have listed here, but I will tell you that I've been a trooper for 23 years. I love wearing this uniform, and I fear the day that I retire from the Kansas High Patrol. And I think that's true for the vast majority of our troopers out there, that they love wearing this uniform, have the freedoms to go and work anywhere in the state and adjust through their career to work different areas of the state, depending on what's changed in their life, if it's kids or spouse or closer to retirement or whatever it might be. So if there's anything else, reach out to me again. I'll try to answer those questions. And thanks for those questions you just sent me. As always, be safe and always buckle up. See you later.